don't know what I said. Speaking of it, also fairly recently you were on one of my favorite shows, the Chip Chipperson Podcast. But
Yeah.
tell me, what's it like to be on that show as a comedian? Because it seems to be a very weird thing in that you have to go on there and be funny by not being funny.
Yeah. I love Jim Norton, who's a friend of Chip's. So like I think someone that he knew reached out to me, and you just watch it, and it's the most fun thing. And my only goal was to make Chip laugh, and making Chip break is brings me so much joy. There's very few things like that. There's that. There's like fucking around with Dave Attell, making him laugh. These are your heroes, kind of. And it's a really fun show, but it's also very awkward. I just laid back in the cut for a while until I caught on to what it was, because I'd never watched it before I went on it either. But what a fun show. He's a
Can
lovely
you?
man, and I heard he eats a mean pussy.
That's one of the things I meant to ask you. Is that can you confirm the rumors that you're actually quite jealous of Chip because he gets all the best lines and fucks all the best chicks?
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the way he eats pussy, where he just puts his tongue out and then sticks his fingers in, he knows what he's doing. And I used to have sex for money, and he's a pro. You could tell.
Yeah, that Karen Freehand's dying for a chip slice.
Really?
Oh, you could just tell by the look in her face.
Oh, she's a nice guy. I love Karen.
uh,
Karen guest hosted my show the other week. I was out of town, so she guest hosted and did a great job.
she's one of the few good young comedians out there, really.
Yeah, there's less and less ballsy chicks. They're really fun to see. Like the real funny girls that don't get offended, that aren't like, why is Louis C.K. coming back to comedy? I love hanging out with them. They're so fun. They really, I've been doing this 18 years, so I came up with respect for the craft, and you look at it like a 20-year game, and you're like, anything you get before 20 years is gravy. And now it's like, this feeling like, well, I'm a Muslim trans person. I deserve a TV show. I'm like, why are you talking like an old Jewish man for a Muslim trans person? Uh, so it's cool to see these girls that still really, comedy's still a unifying thing, but there's just so much infighting going on. In Canada this past week, Just for Laughs took over the Canadian Sirius XM station, which is like how so many Canadian comedians live because of the money they get because of residuals. Just for Laughs took it over, and then all the Canadian comics formulated in a very socialist demeanor. But they were like, "We need our station back. We live off of this," and they were able to like basically fight City Hall and win. But while it was happening, there was like trans comics like, look, I know that this is about money for people to live, but we need more trans opportunities, and we need blah 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 blah. And so it was like, why don't you just shut up and get behind the common cause? Like, I get it, you're trans, but why not also just be a comic first? That happens less and less. I was never like, I'm a Jew. Where's my piece of the pie? I didn't start like that.
But you'd love. There's kind of a controversy going on at the minute over here because there's this uh, cancer fundraising for cancer treatment that's happening over here, and it's all comedians. And this liberal comic, this liberal called it out. Says, "So why does it have to be an all male lineup?" And it's like, yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah, they get upset about the wrong stuff, and then they're usually not funny.
Mm.
Like, the women that complain about this stuff are the least funny. There's so many man-hating women over here. It's really disgusting, and you just picture them. Ugh, God, just eating hams alone in their beds while their cats fight for scraps.